Another
All
one.
right, fellas, we got Kentucky Vandy coming up this weekend. How are we feeling?
I don't know, man. It feels like it could be a tough one. They just have a weird home court. Like, I don't like how the court's even set, like literally the way it's set up. That like, I think the benches are on the north and south instead of like the edges, right? Like they're
They changed
opposite
it
what they.
recently.
Yeah.
Oh, is it back to normal? Like back to
No,
regular?
I think.
No, they actually
I
put the
don't think
season in
so.
the middle now.
They the team posted a photo earlier practicing in our Memorial Coliseum with the seats behind or on the ends. So I assume they haven't changed it, and that's why they were practicing with that setup.
Mm.
I thought I heard earlier today that they actually have the benches on the sidelines now.
Oh, maybe I feel like I've watched a Vandy home game, but I don't know.
Either way, their arena sucks. And it looks like they have theater lighting in there. I've never liked watching Vandy's games on TV.
It looks like they're still on the baselines, from what I can tell.
Is it on the SEC network too? It's just going to be brutal to watch.
Oh. I think Kentucky wins personally.
I do too. I think that there's like
the
game that we probably want to hit. I don't think it's going to be like a cakewalk. I think we win.
Yeah, I mean they're clearly. I mean they're capable of beating us. They just beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't know. Offensively, the last 5 games were like a top 2 offense against the best defenses in the country.
Right.
So offensively, there should be no worries, and that was like we've been banged up. Defensively, I would like maybe we change it up a little bit. I don't know. We're going to be healthier, so I think that defense is just going to get better by default a little bit. But also, it's like still an SEC game, so foul trouble could be a thing. And listen to Mark Pope talk about Vandy like a pregame, and he was talking about defensive philosophies like funnel the offense into making like analytically bad choices, like long twos, right? Which makes sense. But if you break it down a little bit, whenever you have like a bad whistle, and then you end up funneling them to the same defenders who can get into foul trouble pretty easy, and then also lets them still keep a kind of like a rhythm, even if it's like a not very efficient rhythm, it's still a rhythm. So I would like to see maybe a little bit of change up. We'll see.
I mean, I think a lot of it's going to be dependent upon like when we can get like the type of offense we play is going to lead to more defensive possessions. So some of the numbers will be a little higher. I think we just need to get our guard play's been a little bit lax on the. I think Butler's been a little bit hurt. Because behind once Ortega or Butler get blown by, we haven't had the greatest rim protection either. I think a lot of these things will be picked up. The week off's going to do wonders. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. We'll see a big. I think we'll see a lot a real fresh team. I think we'll see a lot of guys look. Actually get the bounce back in their steps and things like that. Because the week's going to do a tremendous amount, especially in this league. How they've been, and there's a lot of games in the pre and the non-con that were tough as well. But I think this week will be a big difference maker.
I think Andrew Carr I don't know what's wrong with his back. I think if this rest has been good for his back, I think that is pretty key to our protection, like close-ish to the rim. Vandy does take like a lot of shots, I think, from the paint, but not at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
So that position is going to have to be pretty solid, I guess. I don't think he's even be able to sit down at games because he's been hurting so bad. So
right.
I did some now, and
you did the prep work for it too.
Yeah,
prep up.
You did give me notice like 48 hours ago you were going to do the now, so that's good.
I looked at Vandy has a guy. His name's McLaughlin. He's a forward, and he is a very good offensive rebounder. He's a forward who's a good offensive rebounder. This season, guys at that position who are good at offensive rebounding have killed us this year. So it's a good test to see if that's still an issue going forward, or if we've actually resolved some of those things. Vandy has this season not been elite or great from beyond the arc, but I think the game's going to come down to rebounding. They're not the best defensive rebounding team, but that one guy there, very good offensive rebounder. He's at I think 16% offensive rebounding rate. So he's good.
He's
And
top 20 in the country.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's an elite offensive rebounder. Now we struggled against Florida, but we did very well. I think it was against Mississippi State and A&M, who were supposed to be great at that. So just another test for that.
I think
We can
Amari is
also-
cleaning up defensive boards
Yes,
pretty good.
Yeah.
it's going to be a big Amari game.
I think McLaughlin had a nice game winner the other day too against South Carolina, maybe.
Oh.
I mean, like at the buzzer.
So
I think he's good. I think Jason Edwards and Tyler Nickel are both pretty good
yeah,
too.
Nickel's the shooter to look out for.
Yeah,
This
right.
guy will burn you.
Definitely, and he's their highest volume shooter by a decent margin and almost 40%. So we'll have to look out for him.
But I think we need Andrew Carr to come out and play for that one. Hopefully he's rested up, ready to go for it. Hopefully the back issues aren't nagging him. Did you guys see where Pope said that they did their, I guess, officiating review is cleared up, where they said they found something that they're going to implement?
Is it a tweak?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say the bad word.
Wait, is it like
Why is tweak a bad word?
on our side or on the officiating side?
An adjustment to SEC officiating.
Mark Pope coming in swinging his big hammer.
I think it's just going to be to sell fouls more.
Yeah. Yeah. God, Kirk Creaser would be eating that up right now.
But Braden, the tweak is during the Harrison Twins Julius Randle year, we were, in a word, ass throughout the regular season and conference play.
Right.
And before the SEC tournament, Cal said that he made a tweak to the team, and then that's when we started our run. So, hence,
Well,
And then,
bad thing.
every year for the next decade, roughly, there was a tweak when you weren't winning enough games. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna make a tweak,
Oh,
and
okay.
sometimes it worked, and sometimes it just became a thing.
Okay, I see now.
Yeah. So then it's Tennessee, like 3 days later.
Yeah, that one's not going to be fun, huh? I don't have the highest hopes.
It
for that
might
one.
be.
I
It
think
would-
I don't know. I feel better about the Tennessee game for some reason than the Vanderbilt one, because that would be so on brand for what we've done all year: is lose the mid-30s
Wouldn't it?
net game and win the top 10 net game. Just saying.
I'd feel better if it weren't in Thompson Bowling, because I've been to Kentucky playing at Thompson Bowling, and it's crazy. It gets loud.
Didn't they even win there last year? Even with, I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's like weird Cal stuff. Cal's good for like one big win a year.
was last night that one, the Georgia one? Because they sure acted like it on Twitter, man. Holy shit!
Yeah, that game. I forgot how much I don't like watching that kind of basketball. Gosh.
Yeah, right. If Tennessee's unless Tennessee's defense holds us to like an Ohio State game, I think we can win that one, because Tennessee's
I do
offense
too.
really looked not great recently, and I don't quite understand why. I think Ziegler's a decent point guard. I think, and he's obviously a great defender. I think Lanier has shown that he can really shoot it. But sometimes I watch the games and it's like, my God, they just aren't scoring at all.
So
That one feels like it's going to be a game of runs. I feel like they're gonna go on a run, because they're going to be able to maybe shut us down for a little bit, and then I feel like we might just hit like a crazy run where they just can't buy a shot for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jackson. I think that could be a Jackson legacy game, in my opinion.
I honestly think both these games are pretty winnable now that because I haven't watched a ton of Vanderbilt. I watched them play Drake and Nevada in the Shriners Classic, and they didn't look good in either. I mean, they went 1-1 with it. They got blasted by Drake. Should have lost to Nevada. Their best win before conference was probably Nevada. Yeah, at like 72 in the net, and then they got the Tennessee win. But other than that, they haven't really beaten anybody in the top 75. Really, I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
What
this
worries
is
me
weird though.
about Tennessee is they are a very good defensive team, and we are prone sometimes to just bad turnovers, and they'll capitalize on that. And if we're not on our A game and super crisp in our passing,
They
then
don't force a ton of turnovers. They're like 90th, I think, or something like that.
Dude,
Ben, you
so
can verify, but
our offense is 7th in the country in terms of how infrequently we turn the ball over. Like we've actually been pretty good. It doesn't feel that way because every
It doesn't.
turnover is just like maddening.
I'm
But
talking
like
about
our
Tennessee's
our
defense.
offense has taken great care of the ball. Really, I mean, I think Tennessee has a really, really respectable defense. Their defense is top 5, maybe. Let's see, top
But
3 in the country.
in turnovers forced though, they're like 90th. They don't or something like that. If you can, I think, anyways. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I thought that's where they were. Like they don't force a ton of turnovers. They play really stout defense. They rebound defensively well. But I don't think
They're top 50.
in turnovers first.
19.2% forced turnover percentage.
I have them at 13.58. Why am I looking at it wrong? Okay,
I did mine
for
now.
90th. Hang on.
So I think like Tennessee, their best defender that was Ziegler, right? He's going to be
I mean,
guarding.
I
not really
yeah, right.
easy to defend. I don't know. I think we do match up well against Tennessee. I don't want to get like overconfident with it because it's still the SEC, it's still Tennessee, it's still at Tennessee. But I do think our offense has been clicking against some of the best defenses, which is, I think there was a little bit of growing pains, which of course, I mean, this is a whole new roster, but getting them to commit to playing offense the way that they want to play offense, even when it's sloppy, they've done that. And they've kind of consistently done that over the last 5 games. So I still think we could still score like in the 90s. Defensively, I just want to see us do something. Like the second half of Gonzaga, that was a ridiculous defensive performance. We haven't really caught that lightning in a bottle again, though.
When it came out earlier this week, how was it? We had the like number 2 most efficient offense in college basketball, and they had our defensive rating, and it was not good. I do think that all we need is to have our defense be mid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, our defense is mid. We're winning a natty. Like,
yeah,
that's how good our offense is playing right now.
Like the defense is rated so low. If that were just to get 10-15% better, it's like, all right, good luck beating us.
Yeah. All right, we beat you by 10 every time. Yeah.
So I don't that stat doesn't alarm me as much as it's alarming other people, especially when I think Field of 68 put out a video after the Alabama loss. And I mean, they keep saying how like, oh, Kentucky, they keep scoring in the 90s or in the hundreds, but their other teams are scoring in the 90s. But we have been playing some of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
And it's just because the video before that, when we won our last few games, it was, you know, Kentucky can win the national title, and then Kentucky loses to Alabama, which is not a bad loss. Then it's, well, there's no way they can win the title with a defense like this. It's like, come on, man. I'm not blaming Field of 68. You got to make content. But as fans, we got to be better than to just fall for whatever Goodman or Doster happen to be saying.
The frustrating thing is that I know I've complained about this before, but the narrative is so different from the regular season to the tournament. I mean, think about Alabama last year. I mean, in our game against them, it was like 115 to 97 or something, right? Like it was crazy high scoring. They gave up 1,000,000 points. And there probably was a field of 68 video saying Alabama can't win the title. Then they go on a Final Four run, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, they were just 2 games away. Look how good their season was, and that is what people remember.
That's
and
true.
They don't remember the take made in January that says that's not a championship contender because they gave up some points to a good team.
In the moment, it is annoying though. I'll be honest, it does get frustrating.
I do.
Yeah,
I watch
commenting on our videos and being like, "Can't win games with this defense." It's like, I know where you saw that, buddy. Okay,
Yeah.
we have the same YouTube algorithm, brother.
Well, we know what you're getting recommended from, like where you came from.
We know how you got here.
We appreciate you very much for recommending us after those great
Like and
videos by
subscribe.
Field of 68. But also, it's not that bad. It's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. Like we're a solid team. I mean, we have our flaws and stuff, but yeah, we fix up a little bit defensively and rebound a little better. We'll be right there.
Yeah, if you were to take a perspective of where we are right now, where we are a national championship contending team, which is insane, with a brand new coach, an entirely new roster, a bunch of dudes who had never played together, and also in their first 5 games of the toughest conference and maybe the history of college basketball. It's crazy how well we were performing. Defensively, I do think, we need to perform better defensively, yes. But I also think we will. I don't think this coaching staff is known for their defensive prowess or whatever. But they're still the smartest guys in college basketball. They're going to make their adjustments. They're going to get these guys more comfortable playing defense in the SEC. We're going to get healthier. And it's just we're right on the cusp of being unstoppable, it feels like to me.
I mean, it's a 5-point loss to a top 5 team. Like we're literally 2 buckets away. Like look, and it doesn't really matter how you do it, right? Like we talk about getting the defense a little better, this rating up or this rating up. Like outside of the couple, like the Ohio State game got away a little bit at the end there, but you're within a couple points here and there. And really the teams you're playing, like you said, the conference is out of control. Just win the games. Like even if we just pick it up a tiny bit, you only got to score. You score more, you win the game. So I really don't think it's that dire of a situation. Just a couple possessions here and there, make your foul shots.
We have a shot to pick up 2 road games this week.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Then you get the Super Bowl at home against Cal and Arkansas, which I'm sure is. That's the next home game. That's cool. Okay.
That's the Catechins Super Bowl, baby.
Oh God.
We're putting up numbers.
Oh, you imagine we lose? We're burning this whole thing down.
Either way, we're putting up numbers, baby.
Yeah.
Make sure you design a cabin that's burnt to the ground as a background, just in case.
It's a good idea.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said it on the recording. Should have been a surprise for the 4 people that would still be alive after that result.
Doing a 3-hour full game breakdown after the Arkansas game.
I'll do it alone if I have to, because I know you won't want to do it that day.
Oh, if we lose?
Yeah.
We ain't losing, bro. We ain't losing.
I know. I just was going off the idea that why would we have a burned down Catekin cabin if we didn't lose? That was what I was. Okay, never mind.
We'll have a burned couch if we win.
Yes.
Arkansas will also be our first quad 2 game in a while.
Yeah, it's a little restful from this.
Brown was quad 4. Ever since then, everything's been quad 1. Vandy's quad 1. Tennessee's quad 1. Arkansas.
Yeah,
quad
we need
2.
one of those bye weeks. I shouldn't say that. That's just going to jinx it. But
it took a miracle in Georgia being semi-inept at basketball yesterday for them to pull that game off. So I wouldn't stress too hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 coaches who hate the sport of basketball, hating basketball.
You know what though? It was also one of the bad beats of all time. That last lay-in to win by 3. It was Arkansas +2, so they covered with that last. Nobody in college, nobody in basketball shoots that shit, and they do, and they cover. I'd be furious. I wonder what the biggest parlay that cost somebody was. I'd love to hear the story. Reach out.
Oh.
All right, boys, we want to go around player of the game, Vanderbilt. If I could go first, I'll take Amari Williams.
Andrew Carr.
Jackson Robinson.
You mean the Cats by 7? That's what I'm thinking. So I don't mean to go around again for the point spread. That's my fault as host. I'm doing a poor job.
I'll go Lamont Butler with a 10-point win.
10-point quad win on the road.
11-point win.
I'm gonna say 12-point win, 81-69.
Oh, okay.
Dang, I thought I was gonna have the most.
I mean, I'll go 14 if you want, 83-69.
Now
8-year-old kid in my head was just like, all right, pick a number between 1 through 10. And he picks 9, and I pick 8. You know.
It's like Price is Right. You just gotta be the highest by 1.
Mm-hmm.
The Tennessee game's tough because how do you think that Otega Owe does on Chaz Lanier? Because I feel like that's the matchup to watch there.
Yeah. All right. I think he's going to do well. I think he's probably going to get like 3 or 4 steals. But I do think with the game of runs that it's going to be hard to like keep the hype off of one of those type turnover plays. But yeah, I think Jackson's going to be the guy in Tennessee for some reason.
I think we need Lanier to have like in Florida, he was 1 for 9 from 3. We need that kind of game and not the Middle Tennessee 5 for 10, Mississippi State 5 for 12 from 3 kind of game from him. So if Owe can keep him, assuming Owe's defending him, if Owe can keep him honest from 3, not having one of those huge games, that would be great.
Yeah, my gosh, for a lot of reasons. I don't want to hear about slander. He has a good game.
Because I would think Owe would be on him, and you would have Lamont on Ziegler.
Probably a combination of the two. They'll probably switch here and there on some things, but
Lanier is one of those guys where it just depends which version of him shows up. Because if you get him hot, then these games could get a little dicey. But he can also just shoot them out of games. So,
do you think
he's sort of like? Go ahead.
I was saying it's a revenge game, right?
We wanted him. I mean, at some points we got Jackson. We ended up getting Jackson instead at the same time, right? That was the 2 it was down to at the end.
Right.
So yeah, I say Jackson legacy game. Good call. It's got to be because I swear on my life I'm not dealing with the. Never mind. We're not even going to bring it to the universe. Jackson's gonna have a great game, and Lanier's getting shut down.
And for that, Chaz Lanier is my player of the game. Just think either way, I'm right. Either he's the MVP for Tennessee or he's the MVP for Kentucky.
That's a good take.
Yeah, I think that's true, especially if he has one of those 1 for 9ers.
I'm thinking whatever the spread is, I'll take Kentucky +1 off that.
So if it's like a 4-point Tennessee favorite, you think we lose by 3?
Oh no. Damn.
Okay.
I think we win by 1.
Oh, okay. So not the spread -1, just like you win by 1 at minimum and then go from there.
Yeah. Unless the spread changes because somebody's hurt or something,
Right. I'm pretty sure Tennessee's going to be favored by 5 to 6 points. I would imagine they'd have to be.
Torvik has them favored by 8.
Oh, there you go. And I think that their recent struggles might lower it a little bit. Torvik is out of its mind with some of the things that I saw a seed list by Torvik and it was outrageous. So I don't know what he's going to tweak, but let me pull it up for you. Because I thought this guy was legit, but then it had like. Let's see, hang on.
Did he have Utah State too low? Is that what it was?
It really wasn't actually. He did have that though. It was too low. But you know what? It's
among
fine.
other things.
If you think Kentucky's on the 4 line, it's fine. That.
He had Utah State too low and BYU too high. That just rubbed you the wrong way.
It's like you think I'm that predictable, but I'm not. So it had nothing to do with most of that. That was not the leading cause of my. God, I'm almost offended you bring that up. Let me look. Okay, yeah, it was like both of those things and also Kentucky. So like a 3 for 3 though, like pretty bad. Let's see. A 10 seed, my ass. If we're a 10 seed, I'm gonna play freeze tag in traffic. Actually, I'd rather be a 10 than an 8 or a 9, though. I hate the 8 or 9 line. It's the worst place to be.
You want to be a 12 seed because I always think
Wow.
3 of them win. I don't know.
And you don't pick the one that does, right?
Yeah, exactly. Every year I think I'm going to win $1 billion.
They don't even do that anymore. It was just that one year, right? That Buffett did the $1 billion like perfect bracket thing. Because I don't think now it's like nothing. You don't win anything if you get it perfect. Like it's like you get thrown into a pool to win 10 grand off of ESPN's like store. It's terrible.
I don't think I've ever been close enough or thought I'd be close enough to pay a whole lot of attention to what you win.
I got a Sweet 16 perfect once.
Pretty good.
It's a miracle. There's almost no way to do it, and I got really lucky because I clicked something wrong anyways. Like truthfully, it wasn't the same as what I had on my paper.
All right, fellas. Any closing thoughts before we wrap this thing up and we have a quick turnaround here? We'll be right back on Saturday.
I'll say for Tennessee, give me Kobe Brea, 5-point win, maybe more. If our offense comes out firing, I think Tennessee may have trouble keeping up. And it's totally possible that they'll lock us down, and that's not going to happen. But in 3 of our 4 losses, every loss other than Alabama, we failed to score 70 points. And Tennessee's had a ton of games where they haven't scored that much. So I think if we pick it up, offense rolls, I think we may pull away.
You know, I'm changing mine to 13 points.
Why is that?
The Vanderbilt game or the
Tennessee game.
Tennessee game? A
Because
13-point win?
Well, so Ben had a good point about if our offense, whatever, can they keep up? I think we have figured offense out. And I think that kind of screws Tennessee. So it would be a statement. That'd be a that would be a get us to the 2 seed type win.
So you think they beat Tennessee by more than they beat Vanderbilt?
Yes.
Yeah. Tennessee hasn't scored 80 cents before Christmas, or hasn't scored 80 cents before Christmas against Middle Tennessee and Western Carolina. And other than that, Syracuse, they had 96. That was probably a big Chaz Lanier game.
It's really just a clash of styles game, right? It's a unstoppable force, immovable object. Which one's going to break?
There's like there are out of the 364 or whatever teams in D1, 330 of them are between us in tempo. I mean, Tennessee plays so slow.
Jeez. That's insane. Okay. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. You could run away with it if you get ahead of them. They're not really built to come back.
And I mean, like I said, it's equally likely that they really frustrate us and our offense can't get it moving, and we have another one of those where we drop it because we just couldn't score. That could happen.
I think that's
what I'm saying. Yeah.
By the way, Tennessee's defense is that good. They're ranked 4th in adjusted defensive efficiency.
I mean, their defense is awesome.
Yeah.
What about the last 5 games? I thought it was like they were mid against the SEC. Could be
that. I'm just looking at overall. You want to know what's fun over our last 5 games, and this has been a point of contention for the year, is we've been shooting almost 70% at the rim. So we are finishing around the rim now, which is probably why we've seen this uptick in our offensive efficiency. So
yeah. So you're telling me that this is going to be a rim job game?
Could be. Messy business.
Tennessee will be interesting on Saturday as well.
They're 54th. Is that even a word? Why does that sound so weird in my mouth? 54th percentile in the last 5 games.
Okay.
So
Tennessee scored 43 points against Florida.
Yeah.
Chaz Lanier,
and lost by
right?
30.
Chaz Lanier shot him out of it, right? Wasn't that the one where he went just ice cold that game? Was that the 1 for 9 game?
That was
See.
Todd Golden.
No,
It's
no,
different.
that was a 1 for 9 game and 2 for 7 from 2.
That was a
10
Todd Golden
points
game.
10 points on 16 shots, and 3 of them came from free throws.
All right, fellas. Well, thank you for joining the Catechin. For Jared, Ben, Braden, and Kale, go Cats.
Okay.
Okay.
Go Cats.